Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of English in Practice. It's Kareem with you, your English teacher. Today we will look at some common mistakes made by English learners, whether in speaking or writing. These mistakes are usually made by English learners who learn English as a foreign language. We will look at these mistakes, we will understand why they are mistakes, and we will look at how to fix these mistakes and how to avoid making them in the first place. So keep watching. The first mistake is what we see in this sentence. Everyone are hungry. In this sentence, we have the mistake of treating the word everyone as a plural noun. This mistake usually happens with people who learn English as a foreign language. Now, in their first language, I think the equivalent to the word everyone is a plural noun. That's why they start applying the grammar of their first language on their the other language, which is in this case English. Those people who make this mistake treat this word as a plural noun, and thus they use a plural verb with this sentence. So everyone are hungry is wrong because the word everyone is a singular noun, which means it should be followed by a singular verb. So in order to fix this sentence, we have to say everyone is hungry, not everyone are hungry. Now this also applies to everyone, everybody, anyone, anybody, someone, and somebody. The second mistake is what we see in this sentence. My father asked me about what did I do. Now, even if you don't know why this is wrong, I believe that some people or people who speak English will still realize, will still say or think that this is wrong. There's something wrong about this. Even if you don't know how to explain why this is wrong. Well, you're still correct. This sentence is wrong because whoever made or make this mistake is obviously confused about two cases. Now, this person thinks that there is a question in there. That's why they use this inversion. That's why they switch the positions of the subject and the verb. But in this case, no. We already know, we all know that in English, when we make questions, we need to apply this inversion, which means we need to switch the positions of the subject and the verb. In this question, for example, is it your book? We can see that we start with the verb, is, and then the subject, it. But if we change this question into a statement, it becomes, it is your book. As you can see, we start with the subject, it, and then with the verb, is. So this switching positions of the subject and the verb is called inversion. And this is what this person did in this mistake. Now, to fix this, we need to say, my father asked me about what I did. As you can see, there is no question, there is no inversion, there is nothing. This case is called reported speech. Reported speech happens when someone tells me something, and then I go to you and tell me what something else told me. Now, I don't use the exact words of this person. I use my own words, my own structures in order to give you the same idea, to express the same idea expressed by that person. So in this case, we don't need any questions, we don't need any inversion. The third mistake is something we see in such a sentence. I took my 3-year-old brother to the market. Now in this sentence, we have a mistake of adding the plural s to the word year. I know, you'll say that the word year is a noun, a countable one. And it is natural to add the plural s to the word year, especially when it's preceded by an adjective that gives us information about, like, it's more than 1 year, so it's naturally years. Well, that is all true, but not in this context. The word year is not used as a noun in this example. I'm using the word year as part of an adjective to describe or modify the noun brother. 3-year-old brother is basically the adjective that is describing the noun brother. This means that 3-year-old is an adjective describing brother. It gives us more information about my brother. It tells me that my brother is 3 years old. And as you can see, we have hyphens to connect these three words as if they are one word. If I say I took my brother to the market, that would sound weird and strange. Why would you take your brother to the market? But when I say I took my 3-year-old brother, this adjective gives you more information about my brother, and it implies why. It implies the reason I have to take my brother to the market. He is 3 years old and he can't go to the market on his own. So the correct form here is I took my 3-year-old brother. So when we use nouns as adjectives like this one, we don't use them in the plural form because they are used as adjectives, and adjectives don't have plural forms. The fourth mistake is what you see in these two sentences. It's raining. How did your cat hurt its paw? People or English learners confuse or make this mistake because they are confusing the two words, it's and its, and they are confusing their roles too. The first it's, in the first example, is basically a possessive adjective. A possessive adjective is used to precede nouns, to describe nouns and to give more information about them, particularly to say to whom this noun belongs. The second it is basically a combination of two words, it and is. We call it a contraction. Now, after this explanation, it should all make sense to you why these two sentences have mistakes. We need to use its with the apostrophe in the first example, and we need to use the possessive adjective its in the second example. So this is how it becomes. It's raining with the apostrophe, which means it is raining. And how did your cat hurt its paw? It's in this example is a possessive adjective modifying the noun paw, telling us that this paw belongs to this cat, to your cat. In the first one, we have an apostrophe that tells us it is a subject and a verb. It is raining. Now we have full and correct sentences. People confuse these two words because maybe they don't understand the meanings of these words. Maybe it's confusing because they are very similar. The only difference is the apostrophe, of course. And in order to avoid such a mistake, always remember that the apostrophe is used in contractions. So whenever you want to use the possessive adjective, there is no apostrophe. But whenever you want to use the subject and verb, which means we're talking about two words, remember that there is an apostrophe joining them together. The last mistake is something we see with people who confuse the meanings of these three words: see, look, and watch. Now, in spoken English, no one really cares about the differences here. But in written English and in formal written English, we do care about this, especially if you like writing, especially if you're trying to pass an English exam, you need to focus on these differences. See. To see is basically to be aware of your surroundings using your eyes. Now, I'm looking directly at the camera. I see two cameras, I see a cameraman, I see lights around me, I see green background, I see the AC on my left. I see many things. Am I looking at them? No. I'm looking now at the camera. So looking, to look, is basically to use your eyes, to point your eyes basically at something. You are looking at something. For example, I'm looking now at the cameras, but I can see the lights, and I can see the AC. But when I look at the AC, I'm now looking at the AC, but I can see the cameras. So this is the small difference between these two. Watch means to see something, then to look at something for a period of time, paying attention to usually its movement. So when you watch the snowfall, for example, it's snowing, snowflakes are falling, you are watching them. You're looking at the snowflakes, you're looking at this view, and you're paying attention to it, you're enjoying the moment maybe, and it's moving. You watch a movie. You see the TV, you look at the pictures, at the frames, and then you keep watching. You pay attention to what's happening. So this is the difference between to see, look, and watch. Today we looked at 5 common mistakes made by English learners. I hope you learned what these mistakes are, why they are mistakes, and how to avoid them in the future. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you very much. Stay safe.